What up, YouTube? This is Farronhart. Today, I wanted to talk about Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. And it's not exactly what I was expecting. In some interesting ways, some good ways, but I overall I enjoyed it. It hit me the same way High School D by D hit me. I was just like, oh, that's an exposed booba. It's a pretty loose plot, but it establishes the world fairly well. You've got this island full of girls, because of course you do, and apparently they're on this island because they all have a virus, and this virus gives them like these mutant powers that allow them to basically either transform into weapons, like literal weapons, like swords and cannons and things like this, or they can then wield the weapon. But in order to do this, you have to elicit it from a partner through the arousal of said partner, then elicits their transformation into said weapon, and then their partner can use their partner who has now turned into a weapon in combat. Oh man, if that's not an anime concept for your ass right there. It's very interesting. There's cheesecake everywhere. It's got its own, stakes and, character motivations, and they're there, and they have some poignancy to them. I can only imagine if you were on the outside looking into anime like this, just as like not even an anime fan, none of it would make any sense whatsoever. There's so much craziness. It's kind of awkward because you'll have, a fight that'll take place, and then all of a sudden, right before the fight can even happen, they have to then get their partners aroused so that they can then transform into a weapon so that they can then be combat ready. It's like if you imagine if like in Dragon Ball Z, before any fight could happen, Goku standing off against Frieza, like Bulma had to show up and then had to make out with Goku so that Bulma can then transform into a crown that then Goku can then wear so then he can then go Super Saiyan and then actually fight. But for some reason they decided to wait until the confrontation to actually get prepared so that he could get Bulma off so that she can then transform into the thing that makes him combat ready, instead of just doing that off camera so you could just be prepared so Frieza doesn't put his hand through your chest. But you never have that problem in Valkyrie Drive because everyone is just so considerate and bashful, like they've never seen it before, even though everyone does it, that whenever somebody starts doing that, they just let you do it. You just start making out with your partner right in the middle of an oncoming fight, and they just let you do it because it's like, hey, why not? And then they just, bam, now you've got a sword or a giant Gatling gun. And they're like, now you done messed up because you let me do this. And everyone just lets that happen. That's just like, it's almost like an unwritten rule on the island that this anime takes place on. By the way, the island is called Mermaid because Valkyrie Drive Mermaid, the island is called Mermaid. There is no mermaids. It's a bit misleading if you were looking for mermaids. I wasn't really looking for mermaids, but it wouldn't be awkward if you were disappointed if there were no mermaids, because it is in the title and there's no mermaids whatsoever, but it's just the name of the island for no particular reason. The names Valkyrie and Drive have purpose. Valkyries, they are just kind of concept that the anime uses for these battle maiden women on this island, and then the drives are the transformation sequences that the girls go through when they become weapons and then are wielded by the other women. I believe the terms are liberators are the ones who wield the weapons, and exters or something like that are the terms used for the girls who become weapons. And so that is a drive, I guess, something like that. And or they become arms, like a weapon arm. You're armed, you become an arm. Anyway, your main character is what are these characters' names? Let's see if I can remember these characters' names. You have the redheaded girl, who's the cutesy with the twin, like really small little twists. Her name is she's Tokonome Mamori, I think. And her partner ends up being she's really cool looking character. She's a really cool outfit. But she barely speaks, very stoic. What's her name? Mirei, I think. They're the two main characters. They become partners, and they both end up on this island due to some rather unfortunate circumstances that the anime doesn't get into that in depth, if at all. For some of them, one of them, it kind of gives you some backstory on Mireille, and then on Mamori, some men in black just kind of showed up one day when she was at school doing track, and they threw her ass on this island. She just blacked out, woke up, and she was on the island. And I was just like, that's all you get, bro. That's all you need. We're about to show you some booba. That's all you need to know. Booba and swords, okay? It's how the world goes round. And that's pretty much the setup. And then you're just on the island, and all of a sudden girls start groping each other, and they start turning into cannons. and it's just kind of like, okay. And so the whole goal is they actually all the girls want to get off this island. There's actually like a castle on the island that is it's like an organized community that's run by this one character who's supposed to be the sole male on the island. For whatever reason, the women decided to make the man the leader of all of them instead of using him for snoo and putting him in a dungeon somewhere as just meat. Somehow they didn't gang up on his ass and turn him into just the procreation tool instead. Or not procreate, procreate? Yeah, procreate, there we go. I don't know why I wanted to say recreate. Recreational? You get what I'm trying to say. They were gonna use him. They didn't just use him as a piece of meat. Instead, they made him their king. I don't know if that's how that would work if you're on an island with nothing but chicks and they just like all got powers. Mind you, so did he. So that's probably what helped, is that he also has like this really powerful ability. He's got this weapon that's like this autonomous AI machine mech thing, but a whole island and they couldn't stop him. I don't know about that. Like the whole island, I don't know. I think the idea is that he was able to get there and establish things before there was a bunch of them. He was apparently one of the first on the island, so I guess he was able to establish things a certain way, and then people just kind of followed suit, and he gained enough followers that no one questioned it. But it's a very character-driven story, so let's talk more about the characters. We have I already mentioned the two main characters. The single male character, I can't remember his name, redheaded, short-haired character with a like a white suit. Hiragi Akira. Meifon. Sakura Meifon, love her. She's great. She's like a pseudo country bumpkin-ish cowgirl, gambling, Robin Hood type of chick. She's fun. She never takes things too seriously, but she's got a heart of gold. She's a fun character. She's got some cool abilities. She does something in the anime that's actually pretty cool, pretty funny. Enjoyed her. She's great. I can't remember what the place is called. It's a castle. I can't remember what it's called, like Walter or something like that. There's Charlotte. There's like a pink-haired chick who I swear is a vampire, and nobody wants to bring that up. Like, she's a crazy vampire woman with sharp teeth and pointy ears, and nobody talks about that. Everybody's like, yeah, normal girls from normal places at home and on Earth. This bitch is a vampire. I swear she's a crazy vampire, and that's why she looks at everyone as cattle. Kind of sociopathic kind of character. And she kind of comes with her own clique that she rolls with. Then you have Shigure Kasumi, and I'm actually remembering these names. I like her. She's cool. She's more stoic. She basically works with Charlotte. Charlotte is kind of like the more of the not free spirited. She's more just reckless. Anarchy, whereas Kasumi is more disciplinary style, and they both work directly under Hiragi Akira, who is the governor of the entire castle. And those are his commanders. And they basically both debate on how to approach different things. One is basically the angel on his shoulder, and the other is the devil on his shoulder, and he deliberates based on them both doing their thing. And then you have Lady Lady. Lady Lady is two characters that are collectively known as Lady Lady, and the two characters are known as Lady J, who is amazing, and I believe Hasumi Rain. They're just they're basically like a duo, misfit, double agent, biker chicks, except one is the biker chick and the other is actually a bike with booba, and has a moaning purring function built within it. It's like almost like Snowvilliers in Final Fantasy 13 with the Shiva bike, but more erotic. Lady J is the bike, but then Rain can turn into a cannon. Okay, so unlike the main characters, Mireille, she's the Liberator. If you remember, I mentioned the Liberators. If you know, it took me a minute to pick this up. Liberator meaning she can elicit the response from an Exter, who is the Exter is the weapon, is the woman who becomes the weapon, right? Then the Liberator is the one who activates that within the Exter and then wields the Exter as an arm through drive, which is the transformation sequence. So Mireille cannot become a weapon. She only can wield the weapons, right? However, Lady can both wield and become weapons interchangeably. So Lady J can become the motorcycle and be ridden by Rain, or anyone really, and then Rain can become a big ass Wolfwood Trigun style cross cannon that can shoot Kamehameha waves and blow up mountains, or disengage other girls' drive states and be wielded by Lady J, or again, really anyone. Which most characters can't just do it with anyone. There has to be someone that gets them going. I guess they're not their lesbian tendencies only really kick in for certain girls, but lady they freaks. So yeah, the show is pretty wild. It doesn't take itself very seriously, but there is some semblance of stakes, and you do feel a little bit for some of these characters. There's certain, I think they do the emotion pretty well without the show taking away from itself. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like it knows what it's doing, you know? And so it's not comedic on purpose, but it's you kind of have to laugh at certain situations. You can't take it too serious, but then there are some serious elements in there. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Anyone who watches enough anime, I think you've encountered stuff like this before. It shouldn't be too new, but it's a pretty fun ride. The animation, along with the copious amounts of bare booba that I wasn't expecting to see, it hit me like bam, right in your face, booba. I was like, wow. I wasn't expecting all that. I also wasn't expecting the animation to be as good as it was. It actually was pretty good. Like they were, some of the action sequences were actually pretty dope. One of the things I like about Kasumi Shigure I mentioned before is also that she's like this dope martial artist. So she gets some pretty cool shots for doing some cool kicking attacks, and you know, Mireille, whenever she gets the sword from Mamori, she does some cool stuff. The designs of some of the weapons and armors are actually really dope as well. And I have to say, I think the finale was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, I think that final episode was pretty sick. They do some pretty cool stuff in that finale. So overall, and also the opening and ending themes slap. I love them. The more I listen to them, the more I love them. I actually really like them a lot. They're really fun. The art's really good. Overdrive and for the intro, and then the ending is like super ultra hyper stackalicious, boobalicious love machine. I don't remember what it's called, but it's fun. I enjoy them. They're great. So yeah, I was all over the place with this one. I don't know if I missed anything. I probably missed a lot. It wasn't a very concise overview of the anime, but yeah, it was scatterbrained. Maybe I'll get a bit better at being more concise and condensed and structured in another video. I don't know. But that was Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. I enjoyed it. Oh, also, there is a direct reference to Valkyrie Drive Bikuni. I think that's how you say that, which is a video game, which I believe came out around the same time as this. I think these came out in 2015. So, yeah. At this time of this recording, I haven't played Valkyrie Drive Bikuni, but I know of it, and I actually think I own it. And I probably will now more likely play it now having watched this anime. And also knowing that Mireille and Mamori are actually DLC characters in it, because they're both really cool. Mireille is badass. So yeah, Valkyrie Drive Mermaid. It's a pretty great time. A lot of boobs with their own gravitational pull, which are the best kind of anime booba. And action and swords and cannons, and a lot of lesbians reaching completion. And yeah, that's it.